Hi, I'm Ed Nicholson-Clasby. I'm the project manager for the Voice and Influence Partnership. We set up 5 community funds to help support the communities we work with in Bristol: Black and minority ethnic communities, people of faith, disabled people, LGBTQ+ communities, and older people. In this film, you'll hear from some of the people who ran the projects that we funded, and some of the people who benefited from them. We took a different approach with a simple application process and the aim to build a relationship of trust rather than one of requirements and criteria. And we hope that you can see that the results speak for themselves.
My name's Aisha Ahmed Mendoza, and I'm from Black to Nature. Black to Nature is currently a family-run charity, which is mainly run by my sister, Maya Rose Craig. She has been running a lot of campaigns through Black to Nature, where we're inviting nature organisations to attend, and then we discuss with them things that can be changed to encourage these communities and make it easier for them to engage with nature. These communities, where the countries that their families have come from, there's so much nature around them, and then they come over here and they're living in cities where quite often they don't have gardens. We are trying to overcome the diversity deficit within the nature sector and encouraging the communities to engage. From the grant that we got from you guys, we ran 4 tree planting sessions. So we had 250 families and individuals from the BME communities attend, and we planted 500 saplings. Quite a few of them planted trees for family members who had died from COVID. And talking to these families, they had really struggled with COVID and being locked inside, and it was so beneficial for them. We had families who came out with young children, and they'd never seen sheep and cows. So even just the journey to where we held our tree planting session, they arrived with so much excitement and enthusiasm because they'd seen these farm animals that we take for granted. They're there every day. It's really rewarding seeing these families, how happy they are, and the children getting stuck in, hands in the mud, pulling out worms. They absolutely love it, and it's really, really rewarding. The grant that we were given, we were able to use it on what we wanted to spend it on, and for us, it was important to spend it on the tree planting day, which included the travel, food. Quite often when you get funding, you're very limited to what you can spend the money on, and it makes it very difficult to actually run the events. We are in the process of organising some more tree planting events. So we'll run a session of tree planting and also run some follow-up sessions with previous attendees so they can attend and visit their trees that they've planted.
So I'm Kate Staniforth, and I run Umbrella Music Bristol, which runs accessible music sessions for people all around the city. I've worked for WECIL previously as a music practitioner running wellbeing music sessions. So I had to apply for the funding. I found it really quite easy. WECIL did adapt the funding because I'm a bit of a different case. I'm not an organisation. I'm just one person. So I'm a music practitioner. I'm not a CIC. I'm not a charity, and I'm not disabled, but I'm providing a service for disabled people. So they did widen the parameters so that I could apply. I think the flexibility is really important for grant because not everyone fits into that one box. And personally, for me, I've thought about becoming a charity. I've thought about becoming a CIC, but I'm just me. So that seems like a big step for me. So it's really lovely for me to be able to apply for funding. So I applied to do 10 Singing for Wellness sessions over Zoom through the pandemic, and they were hour-long sessions where we'd all meet on Zoom. We'd do some vocal warm-ups, so we do some breathing exercises first of all, and then do some vocal warm-ups to just, you know, learn to express our voices, and then we sang songs all together. Singing together brings confidence, and, you know, empowers people, and it's just a lovely, positive thing to do. Even if someone's singing out of tune, I think it's just important that everyone, you know, I always say that it doesn't matter. It's just about giving it a go, having some enthusiasm. So group singing, because there's a real joy in group singing, you know, it reduces stress levels. So it's a really positive thing to sing in a group. I also run a choir, which I ran on Zoom from about the May of 2020. And I just didn't think it was going to work online. I just didn't think singing online was going to work, especially for disabled people, you know, especially for people that struggle with isolation. I don't know, I just didn't think that it was going to work. But doing this was really different because it was all people that I didn't know. So a lot of people came to that, and it was the first time that I'd met them. But what was really special was that even though we'd never met each other, we did build a group, and we did build a connection, which was just amazing. So I think it's made me realise that there is a need for, you know, for online things as well, especially for people with disabilities, you know. Some people don't feel confident coming into a group situation, whether that's through COVID or not. You know, people struggle to get to places, don't they? You know, people have got accessibility issues, or, you know, they're anxious about coming into a group situation. So what this made me realise is that people, you know, this is a good option for some people, doing things online. It's just been really nice to know that you can bring people together online. You don't actually have to physically be together in a room. And what has also been really nice is that some people that came to this session through WECIL, so through the funding, so came to this free session, have now joined my choir. So that's been really lovely. And so that person in particular didn't go out and do community things, but we built up a rapport online. She came to a lot of sessions, and now she's coming physically to my choir sessions, which is really lovely. And for me, just being able to apply for funding was a massive thing.
That's made you think I can apply for more funding?
Yeah, and also just maybe a bit of validation.
Yeah.
That what I'm doing is important and people value it, so... Yeah, because it's hard, you know, like me not being a charity, or me not being a CIC means I am limited about what funding I can apply for. So this has just been really, really positive.
Hi, my name's Karen. I founded LGBTQ plus Faces of Bristol. It's a photography project that tries to make visible all the different people across our community in Bristol. So I thought that the need for this was essentially because there's never enough representation for anything, for any groups of people. And photography is something that I do as a hobby. So it kind of just felt like a good medium for me to try and make people more visible. Because this is a project about visibility and representation, it's not just about getting people in front of their camera. It started off very much so just me and my wife trying to take photos of people, but eventually I wanted to try and involve other people from the community behind the scenes as well, because there's a lot of people that don't really want their photos taken, but there's a lot of ways that people can help with the project. So I basically, at the beginning of this year, I started reaching out to people to see, are there any people that want to help assist photography shoots in any way? The most recent person that I had that's really, really helped the project has been Joe, and he is a British Sign Language interpreter. So that's opened like a massive, massive part of the community for me, because previously I had no way of communicating with the deaf community. So he's really helped with like reaching out to those people as well. Barriers around the pandemic and photography and the LGBTQ plus community as a whole, there's quite a lot of different things to consider. barriers such as like accessibility and things like that. I've always been kind of really outspoken about, if you have a concern about not being able to get involved in some way, then please let me know and we can figure it out. There's been a couple of wheelchair users that I haven't gotten around to taking photos of yet, but I know that it's kind of an easy thing for them because I can just say, where is a good place for you to get to? And then I just go to see them. So that's hopefully not too big a barrier. And then obviously with the deaf community, that barrier is being completely knocked down because I've got Joe, the British Sign Language person, to help with that. So the Voice and Influence Partnership Fund, the money that I got for that, that has meant that I've been able to print off some photo books that basically commemorate the portraits that were taken in 2020. And what that's meant is that people that couldn't get involved or still couldn't leave their houses at a certain time period, it meant that I could post those out to them for free and they still kind of get involved in the project in some way. Like, it still promotes this kind of like positive visibility and representation of people within their community, and they can look through the book and it didn't cost them anything. Applying for the VIP fund was pretty easy. I've done other funding in the past, kind of like government funding, and the difference in the amount of things that they ask you is it's enormous. So the positive and easier side of the VIP stuff is that it was much more focused. So I didn't have to prove that the LGBTQ plus community needed funding. They already knew that. Whereas some of the other forms that you fill in, you also have to prove reasons why this community of people or this project needs funding. They don't put like massive restrictions on what you spend. And I came to them with a bunch of ideas of things that I would need to use the money for. And they worked with me to kind of figure out the best way to do that. And there hasn't been really any challenges that I've had with deciding where to put the funding. It's been pretty flexible.
I'm Mavis Isles and I live in Lochleys. When I was 10, I moved to Landseer Avenue with my mum. Then I got married and moved away for, that was another 16 years. And then I came back. We're on a square. Yeah. There's a big green in the middle. Everybody knows each other. I mean, the first time in lockdown, I didn't go anywhere for 4 months. My son and grandson done all my shopping for me and the neighbours would sort of chip in. I just went for walks. It wasn't too bad, actually. I miss seeing my friends who live quite locally because we didn't go in each other's houses at all. I'd been to St Werburgh's for a meal, and Camilla said, would I like to have this rescue package, as they called it? And I said, yes. Camilla is one of the workers at St Werburgh's. And then there's Misty and Jessie, and there's lots of them there, and loads of volunteers. And so every Thursday, Camilla would come on her bike up Shawden Road, God bless her, in all winds and weathers, and put it on the walk. Of course, we couldn't have contact with each other, obviously. And it was just nice to have a little chat with her as well. And everything was weighed up in separate bags, so it was so easy to do. And it was lovely. You could do spaghetti bolognese, it was pizza, stir fries, cakes, all sorts of things, yeah. And spices I've never ever used, and I have bought now because I do like them. I'd never tried butternut squash or lentils or chickpeas. Chickpeas I didn't like very much. But apart from that, it was lovely. It just made a difference to have something different once a week. And there was so much in there, it lasted me 2 days. And it was just seeing the different people come. Well, it's normally Camilla, but other people would sometimes come to the door, and they always kept in touch. And it's just so friendly, everybody there. When you ring up, or they ring you, just asking how I was getting on and was there anything they could do for me. They asked me if I wanted a friend on the phone to ring me once a week or whatever, which I don't, because I got lots of friends I talk to anyway. My landline is my lifeline. But I don't need anybody to ring me because I chat all the time, so I don't need it, yeah. But it's nice for people who do. This has changed how I cook. I use different spices and herbs and things, and It's been very, very good, and I'm glad I've done it. At long last, at my age, I'm learning new things about cooking instead of having the same boring old things. Do you want to know how old I am?
Go on, tell me.
84.
So learning new things at 84?
Yes,
Is that,
yeah, definitely.
How's that feel then, doing, you know?
Well, yeah, why not? You know, I'll do anything once if I don't like it, if I don't do it again. That's what keeps me going.
My name is Ossian. I'm a minister in the city with the charity, so we do a number of projects with the church.
My name is Lila. I'm a single mom and I used to go to the church.
The church is God's House International Center. We're based by the coach station in Bristol. So we do community support and work for people. So our projects are divided into single mothers, single parents, how to support them. We do ex-offenders and homeless people. In their support, we do the youth and young people, and we do men as well. So we divide it that way so that we meet the people's needs in their own categories. COVID had a huge impact because our community is made up of students, single parents, and people who are not in well-paying jobs. Some of them are on zero contract, so without working, you don't get paid.
Affect me as a mental because I'm a single mom. I have to work with my 2 children in home. I need to give like a good education. We work online lessons, but we don't have enough like support as like for computer, for network, internet. So that was a huge impact for me and my children. So, but I got support from the church and they helped a lot.
With the Voice and Influence Partnership Fund, how did you find out about that?
A friend told me about it, and then I applied. I emailed the office and then applied, and then I got an application form. So I filled it in, but it was one of the easiest applications I've ever had. It can be complicated because some of these organizations want tick box exercises in applying, but the needs and challenges of people can't be put in a box. So they just ask you to explain your project. I just explained my project. Initially, what we did, we were running with the food bank. But our communities are made of 26 nationalities. Some of them don't eat the food from the food bank. It ends up in the dustbin. You buy them food that they don't eat it, they don't know it. Some of them had not seen mushrooms. They don't eat mushrooms, for instance. So the food bank gives that and it ends up in the bin. But the biggest thing that we learned is not to buy people food. So we resorted to giving them vouchers. For instance, with Lila has got twin boys, young boys. Mm-hmm. So if I just give them a bag of food, the boys have got different needs. But if she has got a £50 voucher, she knows what to pick for them as well. And you give them the freedom to pick what they need.
That is important because it's a big help and big important method because you can go to the shop and you can buy whatever you need, especially for your kids and for you. If you go to the food banks, they give like some foods you don't eat, so sometimes you have to give away. It's better to get a voucher. You can buy more food for you and for your kids.
And then also we learned that you don't just buy a voucher. You need to know which supermarket is closer to them. Because if you get them an Asda voucher and they are closer to a Tesco, then they have to spend money going to Asda. Well, the grants were helpful for us because it supported our base and our vision were to support people. It gave us that extra income to extend it to 10 families. But now we were able to broaden it and support more people and lessen the pressure, especially mental health and unnecessary suffering. So with the grant, we're able to go where the need was. We are the people who see the need. The grant offerers don't know the need. So when they trusted us, they actually extended themselves. And it was liberating to know that we are helping people and there is a happy family out there.
Para mí la ayuda y el gran soporte que me han dado ha sido muy grandioso y estoy muy agradecida porque no cualquiera te da esa ayuda y es una ayuda más que nada para las madres solteras y para mis hijos.
Gracias.